All right, pleased to get a victory today. I thought our guys shared the ball really well, 23 assists and 8 turnovers. Came out, and I thought we were crisp and efficient on offense. I thought we were pressured full court on defense, and that cranked the tempo up. Lots to learn from a game like this. Certainly we can be a little bit cleaner on certain things defensively, but overall was pleased. We got a lot of guys, a lot of minutes, balanced scoring. Nice to see Carter Bjerke and Dom Martinelli off the bench with double figures, and all around appreciate everyone coming out today on a Sunday afternoon, and glad to get a victory.
Coach Tim Hill here from Reaching the Summit. A game like this, you don't want your guys to get too overexcited and play out of the system. Just talk about how they continue to execute and play Tommy basketball, knowing that, it's a little easier to get out of your system in a game like today.
Well, I think they have, number one, a great respect for our program and how we want to play every single day, whether it's in practice, whether it's a scrimmage, whether it's a game, and whether that's playing Cal Berkeley or Idaho State or North Central. I think they understand that you only get 31 of these opportunities, and so we got to make the most of it. In particular, I was pleased the way we shared the ball and made the extra pass that, our guys don't care how many they score, they care that we score. And I thought we didn't shoot great from the three in the second half, but I thought we passed up good shots for great shots, and those are habits that you want to build and really reinforce early in the year, and it should pay dividends down the road.
Two guys who you just mentioned that got some really good experience that are going to play some bigger roles this year, Dom Martinelli, Carter Bjerke, who redshirted last year. How good was it to see their confidence grow in a game like this where they can get some double-digit minutes and really be able to get that experience out there?
Yeah, it was great. Dom is a tireless worker. I mean, he has put in so much time in the gym, and I think he had 12 points, 3 assists, 0 turnovers today. And so not just his scoring, but he's improved his passing, his decision-making, and so that's really nice to see. And then Carter is a weapon off the bench to have a 6'9" kid who can shoot like that. He's also a really cerebral player, so what you can run on offense, he's smart and tough on defense, and just continues to get better. He used that redshirt year really, really well, so we're certainly excited to work with him the next 4 years.
The first 2 games of the year, you guys played really well defensively, very disciplined on defense. You executed well on offense, just shots weren't falling necessarily. Today was a good time to kind of exercise those demons. You guys shot well. I look at a guy like Kendall Blue, who made a slower start to the year, but he really found his spacing and his shooting today. Raheem as well, getting some shots, and just talk about their performance as well and what they did today.
Yeah, I think shooting and just statistics in general, I think, can be alluring for the public, and we talk to our guys and caution them about not paying much attention to them ever, but particularly not early in the year, because you're going to have statistical anomalies where maybe a guy misses his first 5 or 6 threes of the year, or he hits his first 5 or 6 threes, and at the end of the day, that's where you want to have, I think, mentally you want to be pretty clear and neutral in your thinking. So we talk a lot about that because we know Kendall what kind of a shooter he is. So I frankly could care less what he shot against Cal or what he shot against Idaho State. If Kendall Blue's open, he should shoot the ball. And frankly, that's true of all our guys. If they're on the court, they know the confidence we have from them. And that comes a lot more from the thousands of reps we've seen in practice than a couple reps during any given game. And so it's nice in a season to have games come rapid fire like this, right? We've had 3 now in 7 days, and then we'll have 3 in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all of a sudden you're 6 games into the season, and then you start to feel like a rotation can settle in, guys can understand their roles a little, and those will still settle throughout the course of the season. But it is fun to have games, right now after having so many practices. It's fun for the guys. They love that, and so I'm excited because I think some guys shot it better today that maybe hadn't the last 2 games, but I think they're all very aware that nobody's confidence in the locker room should ever be shaken, because if you're out on the floor playing for us, you got the green light.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for these guys. They know that you put them out there, you're expecting them to be aggressive when an open shot comes, and that's got to be fun for them to play and to feel loose. And that's a big part of your philosophy, is really instilling that confidence in them, so when they're out there, they're not playing tight. That's something you have open conversations with the guys on a regular basis?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's some of the sports psych piece that, paralysis by analysis. If you're thinking, should I shoot this shot or not, it's probably too late. And I didn't do very many things well in basketball. I could shoot okay, and I know when I shot well, I wasn't thinking about anything, and when I wasn't shooting well, I was usually thinking about way too many things. And so Certainly, I think that's been a hallmark of our program. We like to recruit skilled guys who can shoot it and pass it, and they really compete. And then when they get out there, they know if this is a good shot, I should shoot it. And you certainly have to still make the decision. We're not out there shooting reckless shots, right? But once you know, like, this is who I am, and these are the shots I should take, you should take those every single time. And I think our guys, I think they have a lot of confidence. Some of that comes from within, right? Putting in the time. A guy like Dom, who I talked about earlier, I mean, he's in that gym 2 or 3 times a day. It's unbelievable. And so your confidence is not just given to you by a coach. It's earned through thousands and thousands of repetitions in the gym. And it's also that in the locker room, I think they genuinely know everybody's pulling for one another. We have a special culture. And when you know your teammates are pulling for you, that's when it's easier to shoot after you've missed 3 straight threes, when your teammates are telling you, keep shooting it, Tim. And you know, like, hey, they mean it. They're not just saying that. And so I think that's something that is embedded in our culture as well, not just unselfishness, but just confidence that stems from practice and from the love of your teammates.
This team, all 3 years really, it's been special to see, especially, that the Division III guys coming, and then a transition of new guys last year, and then same with this year. Your team still stays very connected out there. You can see it out there that they love playing with each other. Where do you think that comes from? That is it just to see these teams like that you've had so far, to know that they love playing with each other out there?
I think a lot of it, the core values of our program, and some of those are explicit and some of those are implicit. Some of them we have written down and they're in offices and in our locker room, and then other ones are very much unspoken, but you just know if you're going to play for St. Thomas, this is the way we're going to play, and more importantly, I think this is the way you're going to support your teammates, whatever your role is, regardless of the role. And so having veterans, right, guys like Brooks and Parker who have been with us for so long, that helps, but Raheem Anthony's a veteran who has the same values. He hasn't played here for 5 years, but he's played college basketball for 5 years. He played against us. He knows what those values are. And so it's a joy when I think that's the tests of your culture, I think, are how do people assimilate into that culture when they come from somewhere else? And then also, how does your culture stand up to pressure testing? And, some of that is losing, right? In that first year you alluded to, we won 10 games when people didn't think we'd win many games. We also lost 12 straight games. And that was a group of guys who had lost 8 games in 3 years total. And so to me, that was one of the most beautiful things about that first year, is just seeing how those veterans responded during the tough times, and never did they fracture or fragment, and they believed in one another. And I think when you talk about a culture, those are the lessons that are passed down, where guys like Ben Now and Ryan Dufault were freshmen on that team. They weren't playing many minutes, but they learned from the Ryan Lindberghs and the Burt Hedstroms and the Riley Millers and the Anders Nelsons. And those things happen, when you look at culture, and this is too long of an answer, but I used to teach a course in cross-cultural psychology, and we would spend the first week of the semester debating and arguing and reading and studying definitions of culture. And if you ask 20 cross-cultural psychologists, you're going to get 20 different definitions. So the goal wasn't, let's come to a definition we all agree on. It's to understand culture can be defined in myriad ways. And once we figure out what's important for us, our norms, values, beliefs, behaviors, explicit and implicit, how are those shared by people, and how are they passed along through generations, in this case, not families, but in this case, generations of players. And I think even today on a Sunday afternoon, when it's as nice a November day as you can find in Minnesota, you saw lots of our alums sitting courtside, sitting behind our bench. And those are the things that matter a lot to me, because our players know how supportive they are, and they know part of why you come to St. Thomas is not just get a great education, not just play basketball, but in the community you're going to be connected for the rest of your life.
I think that really shows kind of what's building here is on a Sunday, beautiful Sunday afternoon here. It's a non-D1 game, but you still had a pretty good crowd out there, and a crowd that really was active. They weren't just sitting there and watching, and so that's got to feel good that even in games like this, you can still get a good environment here and show that off to alum and recruits and everything else like that. Yeah,
we realized there's another purple team playing in Minnesota at noon today, so it was good to get a doubleheader sweep. I do think the atmosphere on Friday was electric. I think the crowd continues to get better and better, and part of it is I think it's an easy group of players to cheer for, that the way they share the ball, how they hustle, they dive on the floor for loose balls, they pick one another up. Like there's a certain competitive joy that they play with. And if you're a fan, again, I'm admittedly biased, but if you're a fan and you come watch these guys play, I think you're walking out of here saying that was a great event, everything that went into it, and I want to go watch those guys compete again. And we obviously have a lot of good teams coming in here to play during the Summit League when we get into the conference play, but we're really grateful for the support. And I said it on Friday night, so many people in our administration have put a lot of work into making this an event, and our students continue to come out. And so it certainly makes for a very bright future that we're looking forward to.
Well, you guys go back to California in a few days for a three-game tournament out there. You know, those kind of preseason, obviously it's, you know, putting the cart ahead of the horse here, but those type of events, do you draw a lot out of that to prepare the guys for now in March when we go to Sioux Falls?
Yeah, well, I think we don't talk about Sioux Falls right now, but I think 3 games in 3 days certainly helps you prepare for a conference tournament, but it also helps you prepare for the conference where you're going Thursday, Saturday, and, you know, obviously 3 and 3 is uncommon. We're also going to see different teams. Like if you look at last year going to Montana, the year before going to Youngstown, Cal Baptist, play Cal Poly, play Portland State, who just beat Cal Santa Barbara. Like we're going to see 3 different types of tests out there, 3 really well-coached teams. And so that in itself, when you think about the turnaround and the preparation, and, you know, this is a big week. We just talked to our guys, like they're off tomorrow, so you got to get ahead in your schoolwork because we're going out to California. And you think about how are you going to shoot clear-minded? How are you going to know your defensive coverages? And every day there's a new scout coming. Like it's part of the beauty of being a student athlete is having a week like this where you really got to lock in on school. Then you get on a plane, you play 3 games in 3 days, and that's asking a lot, but it's also preparing them not just for the Summit League tournament, but for life, where they're going to have lots of stuff that, frankly, is more difficult than a basketball game, but this is a great proving ground for them to sort of learn and become more self-aware.
All right, well, I'll let you get going here, Johnny. I always appreciate the candid talks here, and well done today, and good luck next weekend.
All right, thank you, Tim. Roll Toms.